Good evening. We are here and we are even earlier than normal. How exciting is that? I've dashed back from Ascot, got the old Uber, and I am here. Judge, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Thank you. Been a long week, but we're cracking on. Looking forward to tomorrow.
I am going to start off with some quite unwelcome news, some disappointing news. I know it's not that I'm going to be on even more on YouTube, so don't start being sarky out there. I bring news from the course. There's a very, very strong rumour that Nicky Henderson's superstar hurdler, Constitutional Hill, and I heard this from somebody who will know. I'm certainly not revealing any sources. And I believe in the last couple of minutes, I've got a text that an interview kind of backs this up, but I've heard in the interview, Hendo was pretty more positive than the guy I spoke to, who's very close to the Henderson yard. And here's the bad news. I do not think we're going to see superstar hurdler Constitution Hill tomorrow at Ascot. Yeah.
That is breaking news.
That is the big news. As I say, I've been there. I didn't know Hendo had been on with Mick Fitz and said he was going to keep an eye on stuff and walk the track. The news I had was very unlikely to run. So you heard it there first. I hate to break bad news. I personally am really disappointed if that's true, because I'm not an expert. Well, I like to think I am in some things. I'm not an expert in the ground. Right? Yeah. But the times, the look of the jockeys when they came in, the imprint of the horses, I can't believe overnight, Judge, that ground is going to go quick.
No. I mean, it's not drying weather now, really, is it? I mean, I don't know. You know, perhaps I suppose the only downside is though, so the water goes in at the top, but doesn't go all the way through at the moment, does it? So that's the trouble. I suppose technically it is drying out a lot quicker than it would do, not like normally in the winter, if you like.
Yeah, so, I concede that, but come on. I mean, this is crazy.
I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of the slight difference between the Henderson yard and the Nichols yard, really, isn't it? You know, they're quite. Anyway, chalk and cheese.
We spoke last week about the game being in trouble, small fields. I'm going to use the word pathetic Cheltenham meeting, and I think that is the right word. If that doesn't run tomorrow, there's a real chance it will have one run and go straight to a champion hurdle. That is no good for the game, not seeing these big stars. It's no good for the game.
We came from an era where these horses raced, didn't we? So
yeah. And now I understand. Right. What about, he's got to look after. I can't believe that horse can't run tomorrow. Anyway,
for example, let's say, using an example, Honeysuckle's not really been putting. I mean, she has at least 4 or 5 runs a season, doesn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. And also, Constitution Hill had, I think, 3 runs last season, or was it 2 before the Cheltenham? So he still had a couple of runs. So I don't know. He knows. He's got to do what's best for the horse and the owners, obviously. But I do think. I mean, obviously, I've been trying to have a good study up this weekend. The field sizes are pathetic. You've used that word. I mean, and I think out of the TV races, 7 races, 4 of them are small fields with odds-on favourites. Well, they're the TV races. So, it's not good, is it?
No, we try and start people's weekend with fun, bit of banter, give you a couple of tips.
We'll come back.
Bit of the doom merchant. But I will say this. If Henderson pulls out Constitution Hill, if King were to pull out Cornerstone, and let's remember he did last week.
Edwardstone, yeah.
Please, Venetia, don't pull out L'Homme Press.
Yeah,
right. Now, they're expecting a huge crowd at Ascot, not least because those people think that they're setting off to watch these 3. Now, that will be a shocker of an atmosphere there tomorrow if those 3 don't run. Because those 3 races they were due to run in will now be a complete joke.
Well, 2 of them definitely would. But, I mean, what price is Constitution Hill? It was about 2 to 9 last night. I don't know what price it is now. It must be. I mean, I haven't looked, to be honest. So it's no offers nearly, I should think. So
let's hope my info is completely wrong.
Yeah,
let's hope we see all three of them. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever. Right now, one meeting where the horses are, I will make 100% guarantee nothing will be pulled out of Haydock tomorrow because the ground is too quick.
No,
guarantee
I've heard he's watering.
Yeah. Kirkland Tellwrong, as he's known, is more than capable of getting any meeting called off. But we'll trust Kirkland tomorrow to get this on. We are looking at Haydock. We are going to the 3:35. This race is 3 miles 2 furlongs in what I believe will be heavy ground. You are going to have to stay here, Judge. We have got 12 runners at time of recording. The favourite is Houston, Texas. 100-30, 4-1 when we started setting up, so that gives you a clue. Lord de Menil, 5-1, 6-1 when we started setting up, 4-10 to Longe, 11-2, Good Boy Bobby at 8, Musical Slave at 8, Truckers Lodge, dear old Truckers Lodge at 9, the big breakaway at 10. Now, Judge, long staying chases at Haydock. There are plenty of them. What's never really discussed is that Haydock, when you go, is a very tight track. They're always turning. It's a sharp track. However, this is still going to take some staying. But I tell you what, it may sound ridiculous. Heavy ground, 3 mile 2. You're still going to need early pace, or you will get too far back. You really will.
Yeah. I agree with you, and it really is a course that does serve specialists, isn't it? Haydock chase course in particular, and the hurdles course. But just because it's nearly always soft heavy, isn't it? It's a bit like sort of Foss Lass has that tendency to always be soft or heavy, doesn't it? There. So consequently, I think pretty much my horse picks itself. I love the horse. Lord de Menil is my or Menil is my selection here because it's got course form of first, second, sixth. Pulled up in its last start here, which was one run it has disappointed in. But this horse, sort of been a bit in and out last season. Yet it was really consistent the year before. I do think he probably got to a stage where he's handicapped to the hilt, if you like. But there was one really good run at Wetherby last year behind Good Boy Bobby, which was a terrific effort. And there's also the run last time out for me was a right eye catcher. They rode it differently because this horse rolls from the front normally and just keeps bouncing along, pinging along, going along, and basically it hardly finds anything that comes and catches it. He just keeps going. But last time out of Bangor, I don't know what you thought. So I think he's held up out the back and he crept into it and only found it extremely well handicapped. I think it was a Skelton horse beat it. And I think it was only obviously a couple of weeks ago in soft, heavy ground. I do think this horse, if reproducing even that run, won't be up the 3 here. There might be 1 or 2 better handicapped, but I'd be surprised he's not in the frame. And still just about the 5-1. I think this represents an excellent each way shout. Bet to nothing, as I would call it. So for me, Lord de Menil is the strongest selection in the race. And I'm quite happy to talk about any of the others after I put my old hammer down.
Yeah. Now, 2 points of concern. Like you, I love the horse. I had many a good win on him. And I love Richard Hobson. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I don't mean like that. As a trainer. Now, you are one of only 2 course and distance winners. The other is Musical Slave.
That's correct.
Now, I've got lots of plus points. I'm going to give you a couple of things of concern. Like you, even though he's only 9, I started to think at the end of last year and the beginning of this that maybe his best days were behind him and he was feeling what a lot of hard races and front-running, brutal performances. And I thought maybe, is he on the slide? Now, he did run well. It was heavy ground. Are you slightly concerned this is only 10 days later?
It was a slight issue for me. Yes, it was. But I don't think he's what I call give it a real hard race. It was almost like he has backed up after a quick run before.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
That in form. So that would have really been considered for perhaps a Henderson horse. He has backed up before, so it hasn't, and he didn't really. I suppose he's going to have a hard race in soft heavy ground, but he wasn't what I call knocked about. He realised he was going to come second, and he took that on the chin, if you like, after the last. He wasn't flat out from a long way out. He was going to finish second, and like I I say, got beat by a well-handicapped horse. I can't help thinking, I'm hoping tomorrow's the day, but I do think there's obviously this horse has got to be aimed at the races at Haydock this season, realistically, and try to pick up one of them. And this is, I think you'll agree, it's going to be one of the weaker races that's going to be run there. I like Good Boy Bobby, but I do think perhaps it's perhaps not the time to get him. Although he has got a good run at the course, he wasn't one I knocked out. He's the top weight. Well, obviously Lord Dominil is. So, but you do think perhaps later in the season there's going to be some better horses. You had the likes of Bristol de May running the handicap round here last year, didn't you?
Yeah. Now Lord Dominil has got 12-1.
Yeah.
I do think they'll go back to blasting off.
Possibly.
Now, the fact that yours is, I'm pretty sure, is going to blast off.
Yeah.
Has made me even stronger on my bet here. Now, I don't like giving jollies on here, but
when we don't do. Oh, that's right.
20 days ago, Houston, Texas won at Carlisle over 3 mile 2 on soft ground with, I thought, an exceptional performance. I highlighted it in Judges' Duels, and I highlighted the second horse, Innisfree Lad, who I thought ran a cracker. And I said on that Monday that Houston, Texas, I thought was a highly progressive staying chaser. Now, he moves into a higher grade.
Yeah.
Sean Quinlan rides. Nicky Richards is in screaming form. Now, this horse's last 4 runs, second, first. Now, can you argue a horse that keeps winning is going to be well handicapped? You could argue I'd love to have been on him when 4 runs ago when he was on about 90 or whatever. He's off 122 now. I think he's a mid-30s horse. I really do. And I think that round here, if he can lay up in the first lap, I think he'll pick these off between the last 2 fences. I think this is perfect for him. A fast pace on heavy ground. He's by the flat side, Dylan Thomas, would you believe? And here he is round here. I think this is a perfect race for him. I think Musical Slave is really interesting at 10-1, but I can't trust these Hobbs horses first time out. They're either, so many of them run such awful races. He's a yard I used to really like, but I just don't trust them at all. The last 2 or 3 years, they've really gone on the slide, and that really worries me that we might see Musical Slave run up to the form of late last season, or we might see him like so many horses from that yard throwing.
He's a spring horse as well, isn't he? His best form's in the spring. That's the only reason why I didn't fancy him tomorrow, really. His best form has been in the spring.
Who would have thought 3 years ago in March, 2.5 years ago, that when Easyland won the cross country, he was given a quote for 8-1 for the next year's Gold Cup. He was so impressive, and the idea was that he would come for a Gold Cup. He didn't. He stayed over cross country, and he was a short price favourite for the cross country. It came really quick. He ran in it. He needs soft, heavy ground. He got jarred up, and he's never been the same since. He was transferred to John Joe, started running him over hurdles, and now he's trying him in here. Now, I am not remotely giving Easyland as a bet, but has there been a horse in history whose stock has fallen from 8-1 in the Gold Cup to 4 pulled ups? Now, why are they persevering with this? Last year, it looked as though he'd completely gone. Now, is it a tip in itself? Or if Easyland's tailed off in this company, surely they'll do the right thing and retire him tomorrow.
He's only 8, isn't he? He's only a baby, really.
But he's won at Cheltenham Festival for them. It's a sad sight if he was seen labouring and pulling up tomorrow. Look, they may have recaptured his form. I suspect he wouldn't be 40 or 50-1 if he was going well at home. Being a JP off, but there you go. So he's interesting, but in a slightly, I know where you're coming from. Let's hope he does run well. However, I just got to give this. I wish it was still 4-1, folks, but it ain't. I wish it was still 7-2, but it ain't. The best price you're going to get now is 100-30 with Bet365, William Hill, and Bet Victor. I think this goes off about 9-4, and I think it wins.
I've noticed both our two are shortening since we've been on the show, so we haven't even posted it.
We can't even claim anything to do with it because we're recording now.
No, not at all. I'd say my funny one. I don't know. My funny one in the race was Trucker's Lodge. If it was ready to go, that was. I can't help thinking the Welsh National will be that horse's aim, though, don't you think?
Well, that's one of the reasons I'm so strong on Houston, Texas. I'm glad you said that, because one of the points I wanted to make was, it ran and won well 20 days ago, and Nicky Richards actually said that'll put him spot on. Now, a lot of these are making their debut and have other targets, don't they?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Look, it's a bank. I'll be disappointed if we don't get the winner this week. We were close last week, weren't we? A short head or two away, second and third. I'll be disappointed if we're not close this week. And we are on the front two for a change. It's most unlike us, but I'm like you. I think the front two will take some beating here.
Well, I think yours will blast off, and maybe that weight will catch him late on. I hope he still places, but I just think this younger, very, very. You've got to give him nearly two stone. I mean, wow.
Yeah. That's fair comment.
Yeah. I think he'll catch you and win this going away. So it's an interesting race. Now, let's hope that what we talked about was completely wrong. Let's hope if you're going to Ascot, please don't not go because of what I've said. Still go. You'll have a great time.
Quickly, let's put this out quick. Yeah.
Let's hope these three horses run, and it's a great day. But I felt it was only right to pass on what I had told.
Okay, mate.
I'm not going to ask it tomorrow. I'm going to watch it from the comfort of my front room and have about 4 screens go and judge. You got some big bets going out tomorrow, I expect.
I have, mate. Yeah. I fancy a few tomorrow. Excellent. Just trying to find the handicaps you can have a bet in, isn't it? Really? So great.
It's going to be my bag. It's going to be a fascinating day. So keep it HFC. We'll be back on Monday. I'll be back late morning tomorrow with a look at the markets and another late bet. We had Crambo, is it, that won the first today on the video? That was really impressive for Fergus.
Yeah, that one easily, didn't it?
Yeah, picked them all up. Connor Brace, one sweeping run from the back. And it looked a bit big and burly beforehand, so there's more to come from that.
Brilliant.
But I'll tell you more about that on Monday. So we'll be back on Monday. I'll be back in the morning. Have a great weekend, Judge.
You be lucky, mate.
Be lucky, everybody. Back some winners.
Hold it.